hand, I have a feather. In my right hand, a hammer. And I guess one of the reasons we got here today was because of a gentleman named Galileo a long time ago who made a rather significant discovery about falling objects in gravity fields. And we thought that where would be a better place to confirm his findings than on the moon. And so we thought we'd try it here for you. The feather happens to be appropriately a falcon feather for our falcon. And I'll drop the two of them here, and hopefully they'll hit the ground at the same time. How about that? It proves that Mr. Galileo was correct in his findings.
That video was taken on the moon in 1971. NASA astronaut David Scott testing Galileo's theory that gravity accelerates all objects at the same rate. It worked! The hammer and the feather. Galileo's theory of gravity paved the way, of course, for Sir Isaac Newton to develop an equation to determine how two objects interact gravitationally. If you know the weight of two objects, say the Earth and that apple falling from the tree, and you know the distance between those two objects, then you should also know what the force of gravity is between those two things. Apple meet head. One way NASA has been figuring out ways to measure gravity and its effects here on Earth is through a program that's called Gravity Recovery and Climate Experiment, which becomes GRACE when you shorten it up. GRACE is two satellites, each about the size of a small car, orbiting the Earth about 150 miles apart from each other. The satellites circle around the Earth, and they're designed basically to notice little dips and bumps in Earth's gravity. Basically, dense things, heavy things, things with a lot of mass, exert more of a gravitational pull. So from space, using gravity, you can find dense and heavy things on Earth. And you know what's dense and heavy here on Earth? Water. Turns out if you want to find where the water is on Earth, gravity can help. Specifically, if you want to find out where water is below the Earth's surface, satellites can use the force of gravity to figure that out from space, which is so cool. I mean, if you don't know what you want to be yet when you grow up, be a scientist. This stuff is so cool. So GRACE has been up there looking at the Earth, looking at water on the Earth, using the Earth's gravitational field to figure out where it is. And the GRACE scientists have just published two papers about something amazing that they have found and about what needs to be measured next. So you know that California is in a horrendous drought, right? When California isn't in drought, when the state needs water, drinking water, water for irrigating crops, water for everything, it usually, in normal times, California takes about 60% of that water from rivers and reservoirs above ground. But we're in a drought, and California rivers and reservoirs are dry now because of the drought. And so the state needs to get its water from somewhere else. And yes, they're trying to cut back dramatically in terms of their consumption, but California is also using water from a different source. They are drilling for it. They're pulling more and more water out of wells, out of the groundwater. Rather than the rivers and the reservoirs who have nothing left to give, they're pulling the water out of the ground, out of the aquifers that hold fresh water deep below ground. Usually only about 40% of California water comes out of the ground, comes from drilling it out of the groundwater aquifers. But now that they're in drought, that's where California is actually getting most of its water now. They're just pumping it out of the groundwater. They're pumping the groundwater out of the ground and using it. The groundwater aquifer in the Central Valley in California is one of the biggest aquifers on Earth. And GRACE, those two satellites, they've been looking at it. GRACE, for the last 10 years, has been monitoring the 37 largest aquifers in the world, all over the world, including that big one in California. And they have found two things. The first one you are already guessing. The first one is that we're using up all the groundwater. All over the world, aquifers are really stressed. The worst one is apparently the Arabian aquifer, which covers an area where 60 million people live in the Middle East. Can't imagine what might go wrong there if everyone's wells start to run dry and there's no more fresh water. There's also a big one in India and Pakistan that's in very severe trouble. That, of course, is one of the most densely populated regions on Earth. And yes, in the United States, our aquifer that is worst off in terms of being overtapped and not filling back up with water is that one in the Central Valley where California is tapping it so hard right now while they're in drought. So that's one thing that they have found. Groundwater's in trouble. Here's the other thing the scientists have found, though, which is slightly less mind-boggling, I think, because it is way more solvable. and it's about measuring. This neat trick they do with the satellites and using gravity to find big deposits of groundwater. I mean, it's neat, right? It does help you locate and get basic information about fresh water that is underground, the underground fresh water that you know makes human civilization possible. It's neat. But apparently, it can't give you super precise information about exactly how much water is still in those aquifers. And that's really important to figure out, particularly if we are in danger of running those things dry. And particularly if, essentially, when and where those things run dry, human beings aren't going to be able to live there anymore. I mean, we need to know, right? If you have a ton of money in the bank, you maybe don't need to check your balance if you want to withdraw 20 bucks. If you've got next to no money in the bank, you need to know what your balance is before you go to the ATM. So we need to know what's left in terms of our groundwater. And apparently what we need to do is drill them to figure that out. Drill the groundwater aquifers, not to take the water out of them, but just literally to count how many gallons are still down there, because we need to plan now for how much is left. The Grace scientists writing in Water Resources Research say this, quote, "The depth and thickness of many large aquifers make it tough and costly to drill or otherwise reach bedrock and understand where the moisture bottoms out. But it has to be done." The principal investigator of the study, the senior water scientist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab, he makes it even more clear. He says this, quote, "We need to explore the world's aquifers as if they had the same value as oil reserves. We need to drill for water the same way that we drill for other resources." What if we did that? What if we drill, baby, drilled, not to extract this stuff from the earth, but to figure out what was there so we would at least know ahead of time where humans are and are not going to be able to live from here on out, and by when they're going to have to be gone. Joining us now is Jay Famiglietti. He's a senior water scientist with NASA, a professor of Earth System Science at the University of California at Irvine, and he is the principal investigator on these two new studies. Professor Famiglietti, thanks very much for being here tonight. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for having me, Rachel. And I have to say that you totally nailed that introduction. That was just a great synopsis of the papers and really a lot of the work that we have been working really hard on really over the last couple of decades.
Thank you for saying so. I just want to give you a full chance, though. If I got any of that wrong, you can correct me. It's okay. Although I'm very flattered.
No, you pretty much nailed it. Great. And you actually threw in a little recruiting for future environmental scientists, which I appreciate very much.
Well, here's the part that I don't understand, which you could probably tell from the introduction I don't understand, which is why is it that you can see aquifers from space and you can tell when and where they're in danger, but you still say we actually need to physically drill them down here on Earth in order to figure out how much water they've got left? Can't you see that from space too?
No, you really can't. What we're really seeing from studying this gravity data is really the monthly changes in the water storage. And so we're able to see how rapidly these aquifers are gaining or losing water, and most of them are losing water. That's what we found in the study. But you know, it's very difficult to assess how much water is there from space. We just have no real way to do it. And I think that, as you said, the only real feasible way to do that is by exploration as if they were oil reservoirs.
Is it the same kind of technology that they would use to test an oil reservoir's size and characteristics
Absolutely.
that you'd use for this?
Absolutely. And if water had the same value as oil, this exploration would have already been done.
If that value were privatized by corporations that could game governments to clear the way so that they could privatize the resource, right? I mean, that's the problem.
It's you know, that's a path that we probably don't want to go down with water, but we should, in my opinion, really be thinking about charging. You know, it's undervalued, and so we don't give it the respect that it deserves. Right. We haven't done the exploration. We waste a lot of it.
In terms of these two different things that you have identified, obviously one, that we ought to quantify what we've got left because it's important and it's finite in terms of human existence in certain places on Earth. But then this other finding that there are a lot of places where the aquifers are taxed and human persistence there may be getting towards its limits. Is that a problem that is fixable? Are we beyond any sort of human intervention in terms of stopping making that problem worse?
We can slow it down. I think that we are well past the point with humanity where we're relying on what's renewable with respect to water every year. We use more than we have available to us on a renewable basis. And so the challenge now is to figure out at what rate we want to be using what remains in these aquifers. I do think that for these big aquifers, we are not refilling them. And so now it becomes an issue of managing how much we use in the future and also understanding how much is there. Like you said, it's the bank account, and it is quite foolish to draw checks and make withdrawals from a bank account without knowing how much is there.
Jay Famiglietti, senior water scientist at NASA, professor of Earth System Science at UC Irvine. Thank you for helping us understand it. It's really scary, but you've written it in a way that's very clear. Thanks for helping us understand.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. All right. There is a slew of giant news stories coming right at us, including, as promised, a story from my mom. Please stay with us.